The Buyer's Market presented by eBay. I'm Darren Rovell of the Action Network, and we have another great show tonight. We are talking about one of my passions, sports tickets and collecting them, something that over the past month or two has really exploded, which has been a positive and a negative for me. The value of my collection's gone up, but I'm not selling anything, and I can't get anything on eBay now because all of you are outbidding me. So we are going to talk about tickets tonight, and we're also going to talk about Star Wars. Today, of course, is May the 4th, which brings us to the holiday known as May the 4th be with you. So we will get to Star Wars, but first, we have to tell you about our big giveaway today. It is in going with the ticket theme. This is a 1955 World Series Game 1 ticket full. PSA has only graded 17 of these tickets as fulls. It is a great game. Not only did the Brooklyn Dodgers go on to win the title for their first title in 1955, Jackie Robinson stole home at this game at enemy Yankee Stadium. So you can get this slabbed and it's valuable. Please retweet our tweet on the Action Network HQ. You follow the Action Network and you have a chance to win this bad boy. But first, we are going to talk about tickets. We're going to talk to Sean Doherty, a guy who I found on Instagram. I Collect Tickets is his username. And unfortunately, he might have a better collection than mine. He beat me out for a Jackie Robinson debut, which we're going to talk about here. Joining me now is Sean Doherty on Instagram. I Collect Tickets. Nice to meet you, sir. I love your collection. And just want to kind of take it back. How did you find tickets? Were you originally into cards and other things, and then you found your way to tickets, and why?
Yeah, originally I was a huge card collector in the late 80s, early 90s, just like everyone else our age. And my dad gave me a ticket to the game that he went to, the first game in Seattle Pilots history. And
that 1969 season, right?
Yeah, they later became the Brewers. And it was just the coolest thing that I had in my collection. No other kids had it. It was something that you couldn't go to a card shop and find. And so I just cherished this thing. And so I just started collecting tickets. Anytime I went to a game, saved the tickets. And then, 10 years later or so when eBay came out, that just was a game changer for ticket collectors, because all of a sudden you could find what you were looking for, whereas before it was just kind of local stuff, hopefully, or games you went to. But all of a sudden now you could actually go on eBay and search other events throughout the country and even the world.
So then there's like this whole thing where it's normal to get what your dad gave you, and it's normal to collect tickets from games you were at. I think everyone's done that, right? But a lot of people have not shifted to collecting tickets from games you perhaps weren't at. I get this on eBay all the time, and I'm always like weirded out by it. Like people think it's strange that I'm collecting a ticket that I wasn't at, but I know it's historical, or I watched it on TV, and I think it's cool to have that ticket. So like, when did you get to that point where you're like, okay, I have my own tickets, and now I'm going to go after tickets that I think are cool?
Yeah, I think that it's just the historical connection that you have to that event, similar to game used. There's tons of game used collectors out there who want to have something that was there pretty much. And tickets are similar to that. They're kind of an offshoot of card collecting, because you can get them graded and slabbed and all that. But it was actually connected to that event, so it has that extra layer of just special nuance to it that cards don't have, and the rarity, the scarcity that no cards have that.
And we talked about that before the show. Basically the idea that once you start this chase and this journey, and thank God, PSA grading tickets, I think, did change this, because before they were in sheets and they were in, who knows what to put it in. And now the ticket all of a sudden becomes a card, right? Like, it's holdable. I think that's very important.
Right.
but then you get the population reports, and that's also something that is just so fascinating to me, like the fact that there are 122 Don Larson Perfect Game tickets, and at any given time on eBay, there's between 6 and 8 of them available. Yet WrestleMania 3, where Andre got slammed by Hulk, there's only 6 of them, and there were 93,000 people at the Pontiac Silverdome. So like it's amazing. Or there's the nuance of it happened in a stadium where they didn't want it to happen. The Bartman ticket. There's only 15 of those. The Elo, Jordan over Elo in Richmond. I mean, in Cleveland, like who the hell wants to keep that? And that plays in it. So how do you enjoy the search and the nuance, as you said, of looking into these populations and realizing that what you have is something that's scarce?
Yeah, some of them you can't. Okay, so I really enjoy Hall of Fame debuts, and I know that that's the real in thing in the ticket world right now. And I've always
we're gonna get to that one. Yeah.
Okay. But the reason why is because I really liked the games that when they occurred, it wasn't understood the historical significance of it. And debuts are a perfect example of that, because nobody knew when, Cal Ripken pinch ran for someone in the game in 1981 that was, going to be a historical event
of all time, right?
Yeah, so they wouldn't save it. Another good example is Cal Ripken, the first game of the streak. That's who would have ever known that the significance of that game when it happened wouldn't have been known for 10 years after that.
You have that one, right?
I do, yeah.
Let's see that one. You have that one by you?
Yeah, I have it right here. It's one of the let's see.
There you go. Yeah. It doesn't look like an Orioles ticket.
No, well, it has some paper loss there in the front, so it's not the best.
What the Papa is on that?
There's 5.
Right. So that's an example. When people are getting into it, they say, "Hey, I have Cal 2131," and I'm like, everyone's saying, it's like, which is, by the way, why I don't in general go after Super Bowl tickets, because again, when people know in the moment that it's time to save it, then
yeah.
Now let's talk a little bit about. So I am this. People know this because I've gotten into some battles. We all have our preferences, right? I'm not a rookie debut person,
right.
Although I did buy the Allen Iverson, Ray Allen ticket just because I thought that you have 2 guys who had remarkable careers debuting in the same game. But aside from that, so for me, I don't go into it just because. If I don't remember the game, like I really am about the nostalgia of it. But I understand your point of view and the point of others. Others say I like the rookie debuts because it's like the rookie card, right? So over the past month and a half, and I'm not trying to give myself credit for this, but I've certainly talked about it ad nauseum with the platform that I have over the past month and a half, 2 months, or even back 3 or 4 months. What have you noticed in terms of buying what you want to buy?
Well, yeah, that's funny you bring that up. In the last year or so, the prices have absolutely skyrocketed especially for debuts, the rookie cards of Hall of Famers specifically. But on the other hand, the kind of quirky nuance type games, those are still completely affordable, and it's becoming more difficult to find them because other people want them, but they're not incredibly expensive. It's still a very affordable hobby.
It's amazing to see what you could get for $750, right? Like you can get a great ticket. This is not $750 anymore, but this is. I mean, this might be one of my crazy, look at the beauty of the GOAT showing up at Wrigley. So not only the GOAT showing up at Wrigley, but what a ticket. And the Cubs just had amazing tickets that could masquerade as art. What do you think about the idea that this is a piece of art?
Yeah, absolutely. I have some other examples. I don't know.
Let's see some of the collection.
Well, this is this is my favorite all time, and it's also Cubs.
Again, the Cubs, Babe Ruth called shot. Yeah.
Right. Babe Ruth called shot. And, just out of pure coincidence, it's got the number 3 on it, only because it's the 3rd game of the World Series, but it's also Babe Ruth's number, which just has this weird kind of baseball quirkiness to it
I just want to teach people, as long as they're going to listen here and watch. So can you hold that ticket up again for me? All right. So on the top, you see it says 26, 12, and 3. Be very careful when there are no numbers there. Yeah. There are things that had gone on for a long time in the printing days where there were proofs, and people got a lot of these proofs. And if you get it raw, it will be graded by PSA as not valid for admission, which don't spend a lot of money on these proofs. They were not someone sitting at the game, which should have value to you. So just be careful.
No, you're absolutely right there. That makes them basically worthless.
I agree. Can I see your Jackie, please?
It is.
It is the best. Is it the best of the best?
This is a PSA 2. Yeah, it's the highest rated.
No, hold it up. I hold it up again. Hold it. Oh my God, look at that thing.
So, do you recognize this one at all?
I do. Because I went after it, right?
Yeah.
I tried to bid it.
So let me tell you the story on my end of this. I was bidding on it, and I won it. And I get a text message from my friend Billy, and he said, "Do you know who you outbid for this?" And I had no idea. And then he sent me a screenshot of your tweet, and yeah, that's that's how I heard of you in the first place. I had never even heard of Darren Rovell before.
That's amazing. When was that? When was that?
It was sometime last year, I think.
Because I've lost my last 2. And I'd like to say I feel like I don't have enough money I've gone for the Robinson for a while, and I feel I don't feel like I have enough money at the point that I'm getting to it. And now that ticket in the current market is worth $150, and
yeah. I was the underbidder multiple times on Jackie Robinson debut tickets, and that one I had a bunch of baseball cards that the market skyrocketed. So I sold everything that I had in the hopes that one would come on the market that I could actually make an aggressive move on.
Yeah, I've made so many private offers, but I almost feel like the cat is out of the bag, and I feel like in this market, at least right now, I don't have enough money to win it. Show me, you got what did you say you have? You have Harvey Haddock's 12-inning perfect game.
So this isn't one that is really well known, but the game, of course, is extremely well known. I remember reading about this when I was a kid, and in the Guinness Book of World Records, you go 36 up, 36 down. That's just incredible. And the pop on this is, I think, 4 or 5.
Okay. So and then what else is among your favorites?
Among the favorites I have, this is a really, really well-known one too in the collecting community. It has a dual importance. It's the
first
Johnny Vandermeer's second no-hitter.
Johnny. So why is that called? That's the light bulb ticket.
The light bulb ticket, yeah, because it's die cut like a light bulb, because it was the first night game at Ebbets Field.
Oh wow,
So that's another cool kind of collectible. The ones that the games that are so unique that they have more than one historical significant event.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I have another one here. Is this is Orlando Cepeda's major league debut, but it's also the first game on the West Coast.
Oh, on the West Coast, right?
Yeah.
What is that? What is that? 52?
This is 58. 58. April 15th.
Right. So, right. The Giants.
Yeah. So
how many do you have? Do you have numbers? Do you have hundreds?
I have hundreds of slabbed tickets. I have thousands of just random tickets that are to random games, but of the slabbed ones, I have probably 250. Yeah, I constantly am sending some in.
Are you baseball forward, or do you go for the basketball?
I have basketball. I have this is Jordan's debut.
That's the one I'm not going after. Sometimes when I look at a ticket, I'm like, ugh, it is so ugly that I
Yeah.
can't. The moment I don't care about,
No,
like,
I agree with you on
or
that.
there's a player on the other team who's on the ticket of recent, and it's like a Giannis debut, like really Carmelo Anthony's on it. Like it ruins the whole ticket for me. I
Yeah.
don't want a Knicks ticket.
Yeah, that reminds me of the Jeter 3000 hit ticket. And there's tickets of each of all the popular players in the Yankees at the time, but one of them has Jeter, which is worth 10 times whatever the other ones are.
Or how about the LeBron debut with a baby on it?
Yeah. I was thinking about that. You should do some research and find that kid.
I tried.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think he's 20 something Cole. He's like 21 years old. I tried to find him, but I should make a better effort.
Yeah.
Also, the JJ Watt debut has like a 70-year-old man with a beer belly on it. It's just like they started putting fans on these tickets, and
see that, to me, that's the cool nuance of it. Like you think about who is that person, that baby on the, and I have the LeBron, but I don't have it with me right here, but it's, imagine being that kid.
Yeah, imagine if you got him to sign it. I am working more on autographs. Patrick Ryan, who we've had on the show, does a great job of autographs. And the big one I have to get the autograph on is Dan O'Brien failing to make the Olympic Games at the U.S. track and field.
Right, I remember that. Yeah,
Dave. So I have to figure out how to get Dan and Dave on that. I have to get Chris Webber to sign his timeout ticket, which I might have to cover the whole thing with cardboard.
Yeah, I thought somebody said that he doesn't do that. He won't sign.
He doesn't usually do that, but someone got it on. So I'm gonna.
Yeah, and of course you've got to give Bartman.
I have the Bart. I did get the Bartman. I can't believe how hard it was.
You've got to get him to sign it.
Oh, not happening. No, not happening.
Oh, that would be quite a coup.
Yeah, so I do like this Willie Mays. It's not the greatest Willie Mays, but I do like the Willie Mays. This is the most important ticket of my childhood right here, the Bill Buckner.
Yeah,
signed both. I needed that.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, though, I think the George Brett Pine Tar game.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just such a quintessential Yankees ticket. It's quintessential 1983 Michelob beer. The sponsors too are fun, right? Doesn't that add to it too?
Absolutely. Everything that they have is, here's one. This is another sponsor on the back.
Stubs one, right? Oh no, okay.
This is Ken Griffey Jr.'s debut, which also happens to be Omar Vizquel's debut. And Omar Vizquel is probably a Hall of Famer at some point in the future. Yes. And that would be the first time
two Hall of Famers debuted.
Two Hall of Famers in the same lineup. Yeah, ended up. But although Alan Trammell and Lou Whitaker also debuted on the same day in the same lineup, and that'll probably come to pass too in some way.
Lou Whitaker, I don't know.
Well, yeah. I don't know how Alan Trammell can be in the Hall of Fame and not Lou Whitaker.
Well, Lou Whitaker forgot his jersey at the 1984 All-Star game.
Yeah.
Well, sure. This is a great discussion. What do you think the future holds? People say, hey, are you going to sell now that you got in before the market? And I just feel like more and more people are going to come into the market, and more things are not going to be found. The difference here between this and the 86 Clear Jordan, yes, there are not 10s, but like in COVID, there were tons of 8s and 9s that were found, right? Yeah. Like, guess what? Jesse Owens becoming the fastest man in the world in front of Hitler at the 36 Olympics. No one's finding that. Yeah. That is not in a cardboard box. So do you feel protected kind of in a way that, that at least right now, this market is so good that at least what you have is worth what the market's saying it's worth? I
think that, and I've been an avid card collector for years prior to this. And with cards, they kind of go up and down, and right now we're kind of in a boom, obviously. But tickets, and I've been collecting tickets pretty hardcore for the last 20 years. And they
Constantly
constantly
gone up a little, right?
yeah, they've always just slowly ticked up, slowly. I think I mentioned to you before the Jordan. I bought this on eBay in 2011, and I paid $760 for it. And at that time, I thought, "Wow, this
That's
is
crazy.
outrageous! I can't believe I had to pay that much."
Now you're lucky if you get it for 15.
Yeah, yeah, and so they've always kind of slowly ticked up, and I don't see that changing just because of what you're saying. Like the scarcity is always going to be there. The demand will always be there, especially for the big games that have a wider audience than just ticket collectors. And so with that combination, you're never going to have to go wrong on it. It'll always be popular.
Sean Doherty, I collect tickets on Instagram. Follow him. He puts out some great stuff, and I am jealous of it. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sean Doherty. Again, if you want to follow him, he's on I Collect Tickets on Instagram. Reminding you, we have this promotion here. We are giving away this full Jackie Robinson Steals Home, Game 1 of the 1955 World Series. PSA has only graded 17 of these as full tickets. You retweet the Action Network's tweet about this and follow the Action Network. By the end of the show, you might be the one to win it. All right, it's May the 4th, and May the 4th be with you is turning into a holiday. It's been for many years. eBay is going along with that. They are selling with Topps and Disney this awesome 10-card set, The Bad Batch. It's on eBay for $19.99. You can check out eBay's May the 4th be with you Star Wars landing page here. So you will see that here on our show. We need to get a Star Wars expert, and I've known Steve Grad for a long time. He is a autograph authenticator, one of the best in the business. He's at Beckett Grading Services, and he's also one of the largest collectors of Star Wars in the world and the largest autograph collector of Star Wars. So here to educate us on May the 4th about the Star Wars franchise is Steve Grad, one of the best autograph authenticators in the world with Beckett Grading Services and the largest collector of Star Wars autographs in the world. Steve, thanks for joining us. May the 4th be with you.
And may the 4th be with you.
Had to do it. Okay, so briefly, so we know the amazing story, some of you might not know, about George Lucas and his negotiations to get the licensing share of Star Wars. Briefly fill me in on that story.
Well, I mean, he had the first movie. He needed a studio, and he got the studio. But he realized, he said, hey, I'll give you this much, but I'll just take this, the figures and, the shirts and all that stuff. And they were like, oh, we don't want anything to do with that. So really, literally right before the movie.
And this is in 1977.
This is in 77, right before the movie. They came out, I think Christmas time, they came out with like a preview of the figures, the first 12 or whatever. And, they were excited about it, obviously, at Lucasfilm, but the studio had no idea. And it ends up all the stuff that he did made more money than the film did, long run. He had the rights to the figures, the photos, the merchandising, lunch pails, everything. That was all Lucas. And it was genius. And then it helped finance the next films where he didn't have to rely on studio heads looking over him. It was him running the show. And that's ultimately what he wanted in the end. And because he wanted complete control. The first film, he couldn't have it. He had to beg and plead and borrow to get that movie made. But once he was able to do that and shift off that burden, and he had it, and you see how the rest has gone for him.
What an amazing story. And I think Pokemon might have passed it, right, as the number one, I don't know, most licensed in terms of dollars, billions of dollars, but it's one or two in terms of licensing franchises. All right, so eBay's having a big promotion with May the 4th and Star Wars, and so we're talking about it here on this show. All right, fill me up to date, get me up to date on kind of what's been happening. I notice with the rest of the sports card craze and the boxes, that
Yeah.
boxes of Star Wars Topps cards unopened have skyrocketed. But give me some of that and some of the other things that have happened recently, and what do people look for that's the greatness in this?
Well, it's pretty interesting. They came out with a new set of movies, and Lucas said he'd never do it. Then he sold it to Disney, and then he said, "Okay, I'll be part of it." But then he watched it from the sidelines. They came out with 3 films. They weren't critically acclaimed at all. The last one was, just a dud. But then they started coming out with the TV shows, and I think The Mandalorian is what got fans really crazy again. And the one thing I've
No
always,
debate, no debate
yeah.
on that.
And
Yeah.
did you watch it?
I did not, but I would because I'm not a Star Wars fan, but I would
Right.
tell you that it definitely peaked into relevance the way people were talking about it.
Right.
That the last movie definitely didn't. I mean, I think I'm an expert at at relevance and what makes someone talk about it, and I think that definitely broke through.
And that was helmed by Jon Favreau, and he kind of brought it back. But the one thing I've noticed about Star Wars collectors is they love, we call it the OT, the original trilogy. So that would be Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi. Their fans are so attracted to it. So what Favreau did is he went back and grabbed some of that nostalgia, unlike J.J. Abrams tried to do in the films and didn't work. But Favreau actually did it and pulled fans back in. And in turn, it even increased more awareness for those original films. So a lot of people, let's say they were born in the 90s or the late 80s, they grew up with like the Phantom Menace and all these different movies that were made, the Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith. They started
It was something
90s.
for everyone. It was
Yeah.
genius.
And it was. So they came out with those, but those weren't really that popular. What people really collect is the OT. And you mentioned something that's kind of near and dear to me. Years ago, Darren, when I first started collecting Star Wars autographs, this goes back to the 90s. Make a long story short, first person I met, first Star Wars autograph I had there was one, it was I can't remember his name, Hermit. This is gonna kill me, and all my friends are gonna kill me. It's the guy who posed as Darth Vader at Sears and JC Penney's and stuff like that. Hermit, I can't remember his name.
I'll give you credit because that's not a guy who posed as Darth Vader is not someone that you should know.
I know I it's like on the tip of my tongue, and I'm gonna get a lot of crap for that. But Harrison Ford, I met Harrison Ford, and it kind of kicked it off for me. He was filming The Fugitive in Chicago, and that started this quest. But I wish I would have gone to one thing then, and it was cards. And if you look back, I know trading cards, sports cards, but guys like your age and my age, and even a little younger, they like that nostalgia. And the cards have always been very popular. So what I started to do was build the sets. I said, well, I can get the set signed. So I started building them, and now I have almost complete set runs from Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi on the Topps original cards for almost signed by everybody. All those sets completed. Alec Guinness and Cushing and Ford, and I think that stuff is the nostalgia.
And by the way, these guys on a scale of easy to not easy. Ford's not easy. There's a ton of fake.
Yeah, well, he charges too. He does signings. He charges, $1,200. Peter Cushing and Guinness have been dead since the 90s. So people did mail to them. I could find the stuff once in a while, but man, the awareness is so there now, and people want a piece of that nostalgia. And I think that's a big part of the Star Wars part, the original trilogy, vintage autographs. Harrison Ford signed in 77, Fisher signed in 77, Mark Hamill signed in 77.
And by the way, as an autograph expert,
yeah.
Do people want the 77 autograph? Like, you could tell this is a 70s Harrison Ford. This is an 80s, 90s. You know what I'm saying?
You could chart them through the years, and absolutely, there's no doubt there's so little of them. So people want that. And when Carrie Fisher died in 2016, it brought this crazy awareness to collectors.
I know. Again, not a Star Wars fan. Notice the bump for sure.
And people were like, oh no, oh wait, who's next? Chewbacca, Boba Fett. I mean, people were like, is it going to be R2D2? And eventually those 3 people who played those people ended up dying, but it caused this mania. So original trilogy remains very hot to this day. Obviously they keep passing away the original people. Dave Prowse, who played Darth Vader, Jeremy Bulloch, he was Boba Fett. Those 2 guys just passed away recently. So that craze continues, Darren. I can't explain it. I mean, it's my childhood, but I've got it on my arm here. I've got Han Solo here, and
wow,
there, and Princess Leia, the lightsaber, Boba Fett's back here. So it's all
Amazing.
Yeah, it's the childhood. I love it, but I love watching the marketplace and how it's evolved. And I think if I had to tell anybody, that original trilogy is where it's at. Always go that way.
You know what's crazy to me, and this is just a sidebar because I like to loop myself and my collections into things. 97% of James Earl Jones is Star Wars. Like, can I get a good Field of Dreams piece? I mean, god damn.
Well,
Like,
how about Field of Dreams, Coming to America?
all of the both those are my favorite movies of all time. Both of them. Other than a signed photo, there's not great. Like, why is it so like? And so for me, like, there's a negative in Star Wars. Like, give me something good from those other movies. So,
well, if you constantly watch MLB Network, or if you see it, they have that commercial that runs with James Earl Jones' voice from Field of Dreams constantly. It's constant in the background. James Earl Jones' wife passed away 4 or 5 years ago. He was notoriously one of the best, not notorious, but he was one of the best signers in all Star Wars. He'd sign his mail. You'd go to the place in New York or England and he'd sign for fans all day long. He didn't care. Now he stopped completely. Cold turkey. Doesn't do it anymore. So I actually have photos from all those signs. So, and Conan O'Brien, not Conan O'Brien, but Conan, because he was also in there. He turned into a snake, I think.
Yeah, original. What should people look for if they're into it? I mean, I'm into recently sealed toys, more wrestlers than Star Wars, but Star Wars kind of in getting into sealed toys about a year ago. I noticed that Star Wars is basically the number one market. So what should describe that market, and what should people look for if they want to get like an original toy, and what should they expect to pay?
I mean, I think the thing to look for is obviously the original figure line. So Han Solo, Princess Leia, Luke Scott, but those originals that
was that done by Mattel or Hasbro? What
that was, I believe, Kenner.
Kenner.
So that's the line you want. Don't collect, maybe Empire, just the original vintage stuff, Darren. That's where I still always think it's at. You always go back to the vintage stuff. I mean, look at you, the tickets you collect. You want those cool, momentous, huge moments. But they're older, those things that people remember. Not everybody wants Jar Jar Binks sign, figure, just an action figure. That's crap. Go for the old stuff, but expect to pay too. Harrison Ford or Han Solo figure encased, perfect grade. You're going to pay a lot of money. You could pay $10,000-$15,000 for something like that. But at the same time, that investment is so worth it, because I think in 10, 15, 20 years, like we've seen, maybe not as much with baseball cards, but that stuff's going to keep going up in value. It's not going down.
The greatest part about, tickets or anything is, I just love natural scarcity, right? So like those toys in 1977, 78, like the glue that held that thing together, the plastic to the cardboard, was literally supposed to stay on for about 6 weeks. So if you have something that's going 43 years, you're pretty damn good. But it is hard to find that. We've seen some stories about like some guy in 1978, 79 was supposed to go to like a 7-year-old kid's birthday party, somehow like left the toy in the attic or something, and then discovered, and then it sells for, $50,000-$60,000. I love those stories.
Well, there's the Boba Fett too, the Boba Fett with firing rocket, which isn't supposed to happen. There was the prototype. I actually had a chance to film with that on Pawn Stars, and at the time the guy was asking $250,000 for it, and I think
what was it?
It was a prototype that was shown at New York City Comic-Con, just the prototype of it. It didn't even have the right backing or anything, but it was the rocket firing Boba Fett that they had to change because the pieces would get lodged in kids' throats, or so, they stopped with all those toys. At any rate, that's the stuff to collect. Action figures, the trading cards, even, graded cards. You know how well those do, but the original Star Wars stuff is where it's at. If you're going to collect it, original posters, original, I can't stress it enough. The Mandalorian's nice. It's fun. It's cool. They're going to come out with the Obi-Wan series very soon on Disney Plus. But at the same time, go back to the OT. That's where it's at. That's where your money will be made in the future. Not collecting stuff that could be mass produced, people that do signings. Go for the OT. That's where it's at.
What's the future of kind of, let's talk more about the upside. I actually like, and the only Star Wars card I like for me is when they do, and they did this, Topps did this with Superman as well, like when it says Christopher Reeve as Superman, Harrison Ford as. Those are my favorite, right? Because it's almost like this is like the Harrison Ford rookie, right? It's like a little bit outside the character. So for people who might not be all in on Star Wars, is that the stuff to get?
Yeah, actually, people do that. So they'll collect like a subset within the set. So they'll collect those, or they'll collect like, how they used to have the All Stars, but the Empire set had like a card for each person, like a data card, pretty much. People collect that. I think that's a great idea. Collect one of each. I love that card, actually. Harrison Ford as Han Solo. I think that's awesome.
I got that card in a 7 or an 8. Again, not a Star Wars fan. Felt like I needed it because it was his earliest. Right, there's Indiana Jones cards. I felt like that was like pretty much his earliest card, and like Gene Hackman Superman, whatever it is, like that. I needed that.
That's like his rookie. So you have a Han Solo rookie. So that's a good thing.
And about the boxes, like the seal tops boxes, what have we seen the rise on that? I think what's amazing, we had Jeremy Padower who had I think sets 1 through 5 or something, and in the different colors just looked so cool. The boxes, we've seen those explode, huh?
Yeah, and we really haven't. I mean, again, that's the nostalgia. They came out with 5 different series for the first set, so you had all these different colored sets. And I always felt like the autograph part of it was, I think the first series was really easy to collect, and finding autographs from those sets like Alec Guinness and Cushing, that's what everybody wants because those guys died so long ago. But finding them when they get to the orange at the last part of it's really tough. And the next year they only came out, I think, with 2 series or 2 or 3, and then same with the Jedi. Only 2 series, so they changed those. I still think, Darren, always the nostalgia. People want to open them. It's like baseball cards. That's never going to change, and that's why Star Wars is so successful. They keep putting it in our. It's like it's right here. It keeps going in your veins. It doesn't stop. Like they just
literally close to your veins. All right.
So like if you were new and watched The Mandalorian, you're like, wait, where did this all come from? You start watching the other stuff.
You have to go back,
and there you go. Yeah.
All right. 2 more questions. The fact that we have May the 4th as a holiday. No other like movie franchise has, like it's the 30th anniversary of the debut or whatever like it, but this is like by itself. What does that do to the Star Wars franchise and collectible?
I think it's huge. I mean, they started making that date and it just becomes even bigger, and it becomes a big push for memorabilia and trailers and nostalgia. And I think that's why, again, I go back to this, but it's always living and breathing. That once a year you're going to get that, but then you're getting cartoons and TV shows and new toys and collectibles, and it just doesn't stop. That's why that train is like a runaway. Let me just ask you, what other franchise, go back? There's only one really that I would think of that's still so popular, Wizard of Oz. Does anybody care about Casablanca anymore? Gone with the Wind? No. Wizard of Oz is it. And then I keep going through the years and I keep thinking, oh, wait.
Do you think Wizard of Oz still has relevance?
I think it still has relevance because it's pushed out all the time. People still see it, and people kind of associate with some of those characters. So I still think it's very popular. But Star Wars, it's just like I said.
Yeah, Star Wars beats it out. All right, last question. You are an autograph expert. You're the number one autograph collector of Star Wars. What do people? I know Mark Hamill signs funny things. That's his.
Well, you could go to Google. Most of them are mine. So
okay. So what do people have to watch out for if they're gonna get into this?
The insane fakes, and they flooded the market. Unfortunately, they're on eBay, they're on Amazon, they're at local memorabilia shows, card shops. Mark Hamill isn't going to sign. First of all, Mark Hamill hasn't done a show or signing, I think, since 2017. He's kind of shut it down. You're not going to find a Mark Hamill autograph for the most part on a nice piece for under $400. I mean, when he comes back and does shows and signings, he's going to be $500-$600. Just look out for the fakes. If it's too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. At Beckett Authentication, we offer a signature review on our site. If you're not sure, you could run it by there. And Darren, I will tell you, there's an amazing portal on Facebook. It's called Star Wars Autograph Universe. You want to learn about Star Wars and autographs, go there, join the group. It's all about Star Wars autographs. And there's, I think, almost 11,000 members worldwide. And it just brings people together, the collecting community. And it's amazing what these old time collectors pull out all the time. Like, oh, hey, I've got this. Hey, I'm at Ford in 77. I've got this poster. It's incredible. Check it out.
Steve, you're literally the best person to have on. I really appreciate it. You've
Anytime.
educated me, you educated us. And thanks so much.
Now you need some Star Wars autographs.
I know. Thank you, Steve Grad. Man, I love that George Lucas story. And by the way, just another note, eBay landing page, eBay, Disney and Topps, the 10 card set, $19.99 if you want to buy the Bad Batch set, an exclusive release to eBay. Well, we are giving away this ticket. We have sorted through the names. We have sorted through the people who have retweeted. We have sorted through the people who are followers of the Action Network. And the winner is, for the Jackie Robinson Steals Home 1955 World Series ticket, Game 1, Nicholas Rafa at Nico Rafa 54 on Twitter. You are the winner. We will get to you. We will send you this bad boy. It is yours. So may the 4th be with you. We had a great show. Thanks to Sean Doherty. Thanks to Steve Grad. Thanks to my producers, Evan Abrams, Christina Ventura, and the entire Action Network. And of course, our sponsor, eBay. This is Darren Rovell. Good night.